We'd like to thank you for tonight's meeting here in Carolina. Why don't you enjoy yourself this evening? Please do everything you can to keep yourself and those around you safe. Masks are required in all indoor spaces on campus, including here inside the Carmichael Arena. We appreciate your continued commitment to keeping our community safe.
Right back where it is. Might be.
Coaches, the 4-minute touch period begins now. The 1920 Carolina women's basketball team returns to Carmichael this Sunday at 6 p.m. as they host Virginia Tech for First Responders Day, presented by Suny. For tickets and information, visit goldfields.com. Ladies and gentlemen, get on your feet and make some noise. It's T-shirt time.
Welcome to Chapel Hill in North Carolina, and here at Carmichael Arena, it's the start of the 2022 NCAA Gymnastics season with a tri-meet between the North Carolina Tar Heels, the Auburn Tigers, and the Bowling Green Falcons here on YouTube. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us here. I'm Brian Ware, along with Christina Chauvenet. Christina, it's been 22 months since we've done a broadcast together, and with the fans here, I am ready to go.
It is such an electric atmosphere here in Carmichael Arena. If you are watching college gymnastics for the first time, maybe you tuned in because you watched Suny Lee in the Olympics this summer, welcome. This is one of the most exciting and dynamic sports in NCAA.
Yeah, Suny Lee is the star of college gymnastics this year. She committed to Auburn before the games, and then after winning gold, she still kept that commitment, and she is going to be an amazing star this year.
And how exciting to have Suny Lee in college gymnastics. Remember, there's another Olympic gold medalist in college gymnastics right now, too, Jade Carey. Suny is the first Olympic all-around champion to compete in college. Madison Koshin, Kyla Ross competed for UCLA. They were Olympic champions in team. But Suny, what an incredible Olympics she had. Winning that all-around phenomenal performance. It was so neck and neck between her and Rebecca Andrade of Brazil. Really could have gone either way. She came away as the Olympic champion. And again, I just think it's great for the sport she's competing in college.
Yeah, competing in her first NCAA meet. We also have another first, and that's the debut meet for head coach Dana Durante. She was hired in June. The team loves her enthusiasm, and this Tar Heel side is ready to set benchmarks for her.
Absolutely. So college fans may remember Dana from her time as a head coach at the University of Georgia. She is back, and she has really high expectations for her team. When we talked to her earlier this week, she said, my expectation and goal for this team is for us to be a mid-196 team. We should be scoring 196, 196.5s, and they want to be not only making it to regionals, but not competing in that play-in meet. That is going, and that's a realistic score. If they want to be not in those play-in meets, they're going to have to be scoring consistently in the 196s. So I love that she set that bar really high for Carolina gymnastics.
So, as you know, it's going to be a tri-meet. You have North Carolina competing on vault, Auburn will be competing on bars, and Bowling Green will be competing on floor. Now, this was supposed to be a quad meet. NC State, the Wolfpack, were supposed to be here, but they had a COVID issue, and so they backed out of competing today. Obviously, the pandemic still making its way around the country. We hope everybody's safe during this holiday and extended New Year's season. But the gymnasts here are ready to go, and fans are as well. As you see, Auburn working on the uneven bars. We mentioned Suny Lee, but the last person on this list, Darianne Goburn, an All-American and the talisman for this Tiger side.
Absolutely. You see her warming up there on bars. She was the 2019 NCAA vault co-champion, the first national champion that Auburn has had. She didn't get a chance to defend her title, unfortunately, because in 2020, the NCAA championships were canceled, and then in 2021, they had to pull out of regionals.
Yeah, the team had a COVID test and COVID positives, but she was able to perform individually and able to get that she's as being a third-time All-American. And then here you get a look of the Bowling Green Falcons out of the MAC conference. This is a very young Falcons squad, and we talked to head coach Carrie Turner. She's happy that she's got so many new gymnasts coming to Bowling Green and a lot of opportunities for this young side.
That's absolutely right. Bowling Green really struggled last year with the depth. Some of the meets, they couldn't even field 5 athletes. Remember, in college gymnastics, it is 6 up, 5 count, so it's really critical. But because of a lot of COVID-related issues and some depletion of their team, they weren't able to field those full lineups. So she said, that was a big impetus for getting in. They've got 9 freshmen. We're going to see them competing a lot of the routines for Bowling Green. So that should really help them get the season off to a good start.
So we have just about finished the 4-minute touch warm-up. Judges are going to take control of their events momentarily, and we're going to start on the bars with Auburn. And it's going to be Adeline Sabados starting things off. And also you see on floor for Bowling Green, it's going to be Kayla Chan.
And getting off to a really nice start with this bar routine. Really nice double out, just that little step. Oh, and don't know what's going on floor. I think maybe they had a music issue. Didn't quite get it started on time. We are going to bring you as much gymnastics as possible. The vaults we will try and bring to you as we are able on replay and towards the end of the meet. Remember, we do have 3 teams going simultaneously right now.
And we are going to get a look at that first replay from Carolina, and Emery Sumy had an excellent season on vault last year.
Absolutely. She's so consistent for the Tar Heels. A little bit of form to clean up there, but she's exactly the kind of athlete you want starting. In the corner there, you see Amelia Hundley. College gymnastics fans will remember her from her time at Florida and as first season assistant coach here at Chapel Hill.
So now Kayla Chan getting things started for the Falcons, the senior.
And love this pass. Look at the height on that layout step out.
As she mostly competed on floor all of last year in 2021. Set a career best of 9.775. And also on bars is the junior Cassie Stevens, who excelled for the Tigers.
And really huge ray for Stevens there on bars. I love the way that she works bars. Maybe a little shy on that last handstand. Beautiful routine there.
Sealing it with the dismount there. The junior out of Phoenix as Kayla Chan, the senior out of Stevenson Ranch, California, and gets the Falcons going.
What a story for her. She competed for Seattle Pacific. They closed their program a couple years ago, was able to transfer from Bowling Green. And when we talked to the Bowling Green coaching staff, they just said she's been working so hard, has upgraded. All 3 of those passes are upgrades from last season.
And we're now going to show you the vault from Corey Shinohara. Her first meet
Yeah, very exciting. Did not compete last season due to injury. Nice Yurchenko full. Some control issues on that landing, but really what we're focusing on is them getting a good block off the table, having nice dynamics in the air, and that vault did that.
And coming up next for Carolina on the vault will be Hallie Thompson, local product, sophomore out of Waxhaw, North Carolina.
And Hallie is competing a Yurchenko full. Some of you may remember she competed a 1.5 when she was in club. Really nice dynamics in that full. You know, the hop, but again, at this point in the season, a lot of these athletes have been training these vaults and dismounts onto soft surfaces, so we're not gonna see as many stuck landings as we will later in the season, but really nice. She twisted a little bit early off the table, but gets really nice dynamics. And Coach Durante did tell me they are working the 1.5, hoping to debut that later this season, but they really wanted to focus on getting Hallie ready for floor. Very exciting. We're gonna see her floor debut tonight.
Yeah, Hallie Thompson was named to the second team All EHEL on vault. And it looks like we're gonna get ready to get going on bars with Drew Watson, the senior, fifth-year senior out of Tyler, Texas, 3-time All-SEC gymnast.
And she's another one that has that big ray. Wow. On bars, what we're going to be looking for is these athletes hitting right in the handstand, just like she did there, gearing up for her dismount, full twisting double back. Oh, couldn't quite see that landing, but it did look stuck to me. The landing, when there's a little hop in place, you'll see that be a 1/2 tenth. When there is a demonstrable step, that is 1/10, and if it is of a yard or more, it is going to be 2/10 per step.
So coming up next for the Tar Heels will be one of the freshmen for this Tar Heel side, Julian Noer.
A nice Yurchenko full. She is one of those athletes that I think is really under the radar. I think she has so much potential for college gymnastics. She was rated a 3-star recruit by College Gym News. But again, she's coming in. We're going to see Lali Dekanoitsa later in the rotation. She's the one that's gotten so much attention from this freshman class, but I think Julia is going to make a huge contribution to UNC Gymnastics.
Yeah, she was a 4-time Level 10 qualifier, competed at the Level 10 Nationals as well. So we have the next person up for bars, athlete will be Aria Brush, junior out of Cincinnati, Ohio. And this Auburn side really has a lot of athletes that could compete in all around, but when we talk to head coach Jeff Graba, they really love to put athletes in particular spots and let them fight to try to get into that rotation so we can get excellent scores.
Absolutely. They warmed up 8 athletes on every event tonight. When we talked to Coach Graba earlier this week, he said the lineup spots are not set and may see some shuffling during certainly the earlier parts of the season.
Yeah, and this team did really well last year on bars. They were 14th in the country with an NQS score of 49.3.
Absolutely, and adding Suny Lee, the reigning Olympic bars bronze medalist, not a bad way to beef up your bars lineup. And Aria really known for her work on floor, I would say. Oh, and now we're going to Lali Dekanoitsa. Look at this huge 1.5. Really nice. That is one of those vaults that starts out of the 10.0. The Yurchenko fulls, which the rest of the lineup did, they start from 9.95. So it's really exciting that she's bringing that 10.0 vault. That being said, that front landing, when you add that half turn, it is difficult to see the landing, so it's hard to stick, but she gets nice rotation. What I like about that vault is she lands with her chest up. She wasn't under rotated at all, so I think she'll hone that in and stick it by the end of the season.
So now we had a scoring talk between the judges, and up next is Brooke McNamara on floor, and we also have Aria Brush on bars.
Nice double pike to open there. Aria moving really nicely through her bars set. And look at that double layout. So much power, just that scoot back.
Brooke McNamara, one of these young freshmen for head coach Carrie Turner, as she tumbled right in front of her out of Howell, New Jersey.
Gearing up for her last pass here. And just saves that. You know, she was shy on that double back at the end. That is something that we will see from athletes, especially at the beginning of the season, that the last pass, it's really testing their endurance. And for a lot of athletes, you know, they're coming off of Christmas break. A lot of these athletes had a short break, came back for season. And so that's really going to be a test of these teams' endurance to see how they're landing on those final passes.
And now we're going to show you Carolina's last vault from Jamie Shearer.
And this is the tucked full. And you know, she was just off on her, she was off on her block.
And now is Suny Lee, their first rotation in college gymnastics.
And this was the second half of her Olympic, I think that she pinged the bar there on her Jaeger. I'll have to have a look on replay. But here's that pack salto. She's planning to do a Van Leeuwen. Nicely done there. Just look at the toe point. Absolutely beautiful. She's going to do a full twisting double back. Wow. Stuck that. Really beautiful job. Again, we'll have to see on replay if she was able to, if she did touch her. Yeah, let's have a look here. So that's her half turn. Yeah, she does bang her feet on that bar. So that will be a deduction, but I'm so impressed that she managed to just keep going through that. Here's her dismount, just textbook technique. Look at the chest position on that landing. That is what you want to see. And you know, I think it's really important as Suny Lee comes to college, it's really impossible to sort of overstate how the expectations that are on her. She is a first-year college student. You know, she had a little bit of a different trajectory than some of the first years, competing on Dancing with the Stars, going to the Met Gala. So, you know, her having a mistake on her bar routine, that's just, it's just kind of getting into college gymnastics. No worries. I'm just glad to see her out here performing with Auburn, and she looks like she is really having a good time in the college gymnastics experience.
Next up for the Falcons on floor is another freshman out of New Jersey, Emily Castiglia, out of Winnock. And the final competitor for the Tigers, as Suny Lee's scores will be put into the computer, is the senior Darian Goburn. And
Darian is a treat on this event. Just really is able to leverage her power. Look at that Tkachev. Big power there. Nice double pipe on floor.
And what's so impressive with Goburn is her strength.
And finds that landing. I saw her drill about 10 of those in warm-ups. And we're going to see more of the same from her throughout the evening. She is slated to compete 3 events tonight.
Excellent double tuck from Castiglia.
really nice routine there. Some of her split leap elements were not 280 degrees. I know I'm sounding picky, but the judges are going to go pen to paper when they are not seeing those split elements reach 180 degrees, but really nice tumbling in that routine. And as we think about this, Suny Lee's routine, keep in mind she will incur a 2/10 deduction for banging her feet on the bars. One of the people I was surprised not to see in the lineup was, I think we are going to have an exhibition. Oh, there's Suny Lee. Was Piper Smith. I thought that she would be in the lineup. She was a top contributor for them last year on bars. I did see her warming up bars, so not sure what happened there. But again, Coach Graba did say that he is testing a lot of his depth, so that may be why.
We do have Sophia Groth in an exhibition performance for the Tigers.
And caught that release move pretty close, but was able to hang on.
She's another freshman out of West Des Moines, Iowa.
And those exhibition performances, remember, they do not count towards the team score. So but they are scored. The judges score them. But because it is an exhibition, it's, and just ran out of gas. That's kind of what I was talking about with Bowling Green on floor. Endurance is going to be a big issue for all the teams, getting endurance up and making sure they're ready for those final handstands. But good for them to get out and get that experience. That's what that exhibition spot is for.
So there's still a couple of athletes left to compete on floor, including Catherine Weilbacher, a freshman out of Houston, Texas. And in our talk with Coach Carrie Turner, you had a keen eye on this young athlete from Texas.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see her. She comes from a World Champions Center, trained there in Texas. That's Simone Biles' gym. So when you train at Simone Biles' gym, you learn how to be a powerful athlete. And we're going to see that from her. Really exciting. She's a dynamic athlete on floor and beam. She's going to show a punch front through to a double back, just has a lot of power, and she's one of the athletes that I think has a really bright future at Bowling Green.
Again, both judges compile their scores, and for those that don't understand how college gymnastics go, each coach not only gives them the lineup, but they also give them the routine they're expected to perform, especially on bars, on floor, and on beam. So they make sure they go through all their checklists. And now Weilbacher set for her first tumble.
And here's that front through to double back. Really nice there.
Solid double pike to finish it out. And the freshman keeping the train going for the Falcons.
And here's that pass that we were talking about, the punch front through to the double back. Really difficult because of the way that's connected. Maybe just a little bit shy, but she covered it up really nicely. Shy of rotation, I mean.
She really did. And now the final two rotations for the Falcons in terms of scoring are really going to be Bowling Green's two premier all-around performers. First up is going to be junior Lily Harsh, a local product here in the state of North Carolina from Davidson. And even though she didn't compete in all-around last year, she has the capability of performing at her best on all apparatuses.
Absolutely. And yeah, some of these athletes most athletes are training as many events as they can. Some don't particularly like an event, or maybe they have an injury that precludes them from training. But some athletes are training the all-around, maybe didn't break through in a lineup, but have still been training it while they are in college and ready to kind of step in. And that's really important to have that depth. That's the kind of depth that Bowling Green really needs, just so that they can protect themselves from the situation that happened to them last season when they really weren't able to field full lineups.
But even when she was younger, Harsh did very well in competing in all different events. In North Carolina, she was a state champ at level 10 on vault, on beam, and on floor. This Bowling Green team, when we talked to head coach Carrie Turner, really wants this. Obviously, the depth is going to make their scores a whole lot better after finishing 6th in the MAC at the conference championship. And hopefully they can get, their goals will probably be to get close to that 195 NQS score after last year averaging a team score of 194.15.
Recovery there in that middle pass. Really too bad about that first pass. I love the choreography in that routine. Let's take another look on replay, see what happened. And she's going for this very difficult 2.5 twist. Yeah, just not even, she was not close to getting it around. I don't know if she was intending to connect something. This middle pass was nice though, the front full to the front pike. Really good chest position on that landing, but I like to see her going for that difficulty. Again, this is the first meet. They're not going to be where they are in the middle or later of the season, but like to see them going for that. Just needs to work on the set on that twist.
So we have one more rotation. It's going to be Taylor Jensen, junior out of North Prairie, Wisconsin, and she was the primary all-around performer, setting a career best of 39.35 in all-around. And made twice had her best score of 9.875.
And I just love Taylor on this event. She is one of those gymnasts that is very artistic, very expressive to watch. She also opens with an E pass. We're going to see the front double full from her, I believe.
So the judges are trying to compile the scores
And
for Lily Harsh.
If you're watching college gymnastics for the first time, these scores may be looking a little different than what you saw, for example, in the Olympics. So in the Olympics, open-ended scoring. That means an execution started out with 10.0 and then the difficulty went on top of that. So you were seeing athletes score in the 13s, 14s, sometimes even 15s. College gymnastics, we are on a 10.0 system. That means it is capped at 10.0. You cannot start from a value higher than that. And what that means is that for an athlete like Suny Lee, she doesn't really have to do all of her difficulty because she doesn't get any scoring benefit from doing more difficult routines than she needs to do. Now, she wants to push herself. She wants to do more difficult routines. It's one of the things we talked about with Jeff Graba, that balance, because he even said, sometimes that can be a disadvantage trying to push for some of that higher difficulty. So when somebody like Suny Lee coming in with so much difficulty, when she was in the Olympic all-around final, there were probably 4 or 5 gymnasts who realistically were vying for that title, and that's because of the difficulty gap between her and the other athletes. When you're in college, basically all of these athletes, unless something goes wrong with their routine, are starting from a 10.0, except on vault where some of them are starting in 9.95, 9.9. But so somebody like Suny Lee, she is also going to start from a 10.0, even though she's capable of doing more difficulty. So the thing that I think is so exciting about college gymnastics is you can see somebody like Suny Lee go toe-to-toe with some of the top, what we call level 10s. Those are the people that come out of the developmental program right under that elite level. Those top level 10s oftentimes go on to be NCAA stars, and some of those top level 10s will be going head-to-head with Suny Lee this season. Gorgeous leaps. Just absolutely gorgeous work. And what I love about her gymnastics is it's the complete package. It's the tumbling, it's the dance, it's the presentation. And we're gonna take a look at some of that. Here she's going into her leap series. So she does that switch, this 3-element series, showing off that nice split position. And you see a lot of people doing 2 elements in a row, not a lot doing 3 in a row. And here's that 1.5 to front layout. She keeps a nice layout position through there. Really loved that routine.
So the first rotation has been completed. Christina, I can honestly say that it's great to have you. It's great to have college gymnastics here. Carmike Arena is a buzz. And as you look, second rotation coming up, Auburn will be on beam, North Carolina will be on bars, and Bowling Green will be on vault. We will step aside for just a moment. You're watching NCAA Gymnastics here on YouTube.
concludes our opening round of competition. Gymnasts or 2-minute transition period has begun. Please move to your next event. Carolina will be on bars. Auburn will be on beam, and Bowling Green will be on vaults. Please direct your attention to the video board to learn more about our Tar Heel Gymnastics team.
Let's go, ladies!
That is disgusting. Pumpkin pie pie. That is too basic. Pecan pie. That is also disgusting. Eating pie. Being a senior, thumbs up because I like to get my day started, but as a freshman, I would definitely say thumbs up.
Coaches, the 4-minute touch period begins now. Ladies and gentlemen, your team scores following rotation number 1. Carolina, 49.025 points. Auburn, 48.825. Bowling Green, 48.575. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go with our contestant, Lindsay. Lindsay will have 20 seconds to name as many items as she can that fit within a given category. If Lindsay names more items than our gymnast, she'll go home with the Carolina prize pack. All right, Lindsay. Tonight's category is flowers. How many types of flowers can you name?
Rose, sunflower, iris, butterfly, sunflower, mums, orchid lilies,
3, 2, 1. All right. All right, Lindsay, I believe you got 10. Outstanding job. Let's see how our gymnast did.
roses, lilies, tulip, sunflower, wait,
Corey got 5. Lindsay, you got 10. Congratulations. How a big round of applause for Lindsay. You are the winner of the Carolina prize pack.
Back here at Carmichael Arena, this place is buzzing as we get set for rotation number 2. North Carolina did very well on vault, 49.025. Auburn did well on uneven bars with 48.875, and this was the routine from Suny Lee, Christina.
And Suny Lee, her competitive debut, look at that. Oh, just this error, clipped her feet on the bars, mandatory 210s. This is what a champion she is, though. Most gymnasts would have taken an extra strength swing. She just kept going, like, no problem. It's an honor and a joy to commentate her routines. Look at the toe point, so precise. That mistake that she had, that's her full twisting double back. Again, look at the way that the mechanics on this dismount are perfect. Look at her, she ends upright, really, really beautiful. Just that fluke mistake, and that it's no big deal. She will bounce back, and I'm excited to see her on beam here.
And that's where the Tigers will be. The Tar Heels will be on bars. Bowling Green had 48.575 on floor team score. They will now be on vault.
And we do apologize, we're having a little bit of trouble with our live scoring if you're following there. But I think for me, when you look at the overall, Carolina leading, coming off of that first rotation, really came out strong there, 49.025. Interesting, they did not have any stuck landings, and they still managed a really strong score. And I think one of the things, especially on vault, oftentimes you fixate on the landing. That is not the only part of the vault that is evaluated. What I liked to see from Carolina was these really good dynamics. Their chests were up on landing. They were getting that height and distance and rotation to get into those really solid 9.8 scores. They're on pace for that 196.
So here's the rotation for the Tar Heels. You see Jamie Shearer, the sophomore, is going to lead things off, trying to shake off that vault performance. And it's going to be capped by the senior Elizabeth Colton. So here is Shearer performing first for the Tar Heels.
I really like to see Jamie swing bars. She's got this Jaeger here really high. That's what we want to see from that release move. Transitions to the low bar. I believe that was supposed to be an overshoot. I don't believe she was going for handstand. Gearing up for her dismount here. She does that double layout. Really nice job. Just that step is what we're probably going to be that 1/10. Again, the half tenth is supposed to be reserved for those like the steps that look like a big step or a sizable step. The half tenth is for those like little tiny movements that are like not quite stuck.
So first up for the Tigers will be Aria Brush, the junior out of Cincinnati, Ohio. And there you look at the rotation for the Tigers. You have Morgan Lee Oldham, Olivia Hollingsworth, Lee, and we saw the freshman Sophia Groth, as well as Cassie Stevens. Stevens did exceptional on beam, making all SEC honors. But here is Brush, had a personal best of 9.825 last year.
Full turn, that's one of the requirements on beam. So when we're talking about start values on bars, beam, and floor, that aerial to split nicely connected, that's another requirement to do either a dance series, 2 dance elements connected, or a dance acro series, which she just did there. Here's her acrobatic series, gearing up for that back handspring layout step out, super solid. And that is, again, another requirement. So these gymnasts have to fulfill these series of requirements. If you fulfill all of the requirements, you start from a 9.4. The gymnast then has to build up their difficulty by doing more difficult elements that are required, those D and E elements, and or doing elements in combination. And you do have to get bonus from these different families in order to build up your start value. Like I said, all of these athletes competing will be starting from that 10.0. Really nice stuck landing there. They will be starting from that 10.0 as long as they perform everything that's planned. But that's something we may talk about. If it looks like somebody is slow on a connection, they might not have given them.
And here's the first vault from the Falcons. It's Lily Harsh.
Tucked full. That's starts out of a 9.9. Again, vault, I know I just said every guy who's starting from a 10. Vault is the one exception, but a really nice tuck full there.
So second up for the Tar Heels on the uneven bars is Julia Noer, the freshman out of Mandeville, Louisiana.
Moving well through this routine, just with leg separation on that Ginger, her single bar release. And she's gearing up for her dismount. She takes this dismount really high. Oh, came a little close to the bar there. She knows it. She's like, all right, but really nice routine. Again, I think that she's one of those athletes to watch. She is slated to complete the all-around tonight, and I think she's going to make, she and Lolly Dekanoitsa are going to make a really good 1-2 punch there in that class.
And here's the second vault from the Falcons in Lauren Bannister.
A nice vault there. I believe she was doing a laid out Yurchenko, just piked it down quite a bit. So again, that's something that we're going to be talking about. If for the athletes doing those laid out vaults, we want to see their hips stay extended throughout the vault, no knee bend, and their sort of hip angle open. And so when the gymnast closes their hip angle, they will get a deduction, and that deduction will be commensurate with sort of how closed the hip angle is.
So you see second up for the Tigers is junior Morgan Lee Oldman out of Orlando, Florida.
I absolutely love to watch her on this event. Gearing up for her series here. Rock solid there. That back handspring layout step out is the most common series that we will see in college gymnastics. And just something to keep an eye on. We'll see triple series from a couple of the Auburn gymnasts and some of the UNC gymnasts as well. That cat leap into the aerial. You know, she's a little off there, but covered it nicely. I like to see that when athletes can just handle, they can just sort of absorb the mistake, not let it turn into a bigger one. And check this out. She does this, too bad, just lost her footing. I know sometimes those dance elements can look easier than the tumbling. I can assure you they are not.
And third up for the Tar Heels on the uneven bars is Hallie Thompson.
And that wasn't a Ginger, folks, it was a Delchev.
And you see the excellent dismount and the recovery from Oldham.
Yeah, nice recovery. You know, she was going for that difficult dance element, didn't quite make it, but good rest of the routine. And here's the rest of Hallie's routine. She's gearing up for her full twisting double back. Oh my gosh.
That is not a sight to see that for Tar Heel fans. She instantly felt the pain in her knee. Hallie Thompson, the sophomore out of Waxhaw, North Carolina, suffering an injury. On the dismount as we return to other action that's before with Brooke McNamara for the Falcons.
And Yurchenko full there had some issues with her leg separation coming off the table, but good to see, you know, Bowling Green fielding these vaults that are getting into those 9.95 start values.
Here's the next performer for the Falcons.
And nice Yurchenko full there as well.
And I believe that is Weilbacher.
Gets good block off the table. Again, that chest up, which is what we're looking for, just that scoop back on the landing.
So the Falcons moving through their rotation on vault, and coming up next for Auburn on balance beam is going to be Olivia Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth, a sophomore out of Seabrook, Texas. Competed most of last year before succumbing to an injury late in 2021 had a personal best of 9.85 in their match against the Razorbacks.
Yeah, and I know Jeff Graba is so excited to have her back in the lineup. Really clean series there. Oh, and see, there is an example of where I believe she was trying to connect that to another element. That switch half to the beat jump.
Also, you see Lali Dekanoitsa on bars for the Tar Heels as she's gearing for her dismount.
And this is a difficult situation to be in. Really
Stuck
nice
landing
double
for the
layout.
freshman.
I mean, I cannot say enough good things about Lali Dekanoitsa's gymnastics. I know that that is one of the debuts that fans tuning in will be excited to see. Here's that dismount, aerial to full. Really nicely done there.
Olivia Hollingsworth keeping things going for the Tigers. As you get a look at the next vault from Taylor Jensen.
And here's that full, takes that step back, but yeah, I'm liking these fulls. The last couple for Bowling Green in particular have been really dynamic, getting some of those, that height and distance that you need to break into some of that higher scoring values. And some gymnastics fans may be wondering about Dalia Solorzano Caruso, the transfer from Southeastern Missouri. She is on a return to play. That means that she has illness or injury, could not travel. But when we talked to the coaching staff, they did say that they were expecting to have her back shortly. So she could not travel with Bowling Green here, but she will be back in the lineup soon. Again, one of those athletes that I think is going to bring a lot to Bowling Green. Getting a look at Suny Lee here.
Yeah, Suny Lee is going to be next for the Tigers. You just saw that last vault from Taylor Jensen, 9.825 for the Falcons. And it looks like it's going to be a 9.875 for Dekanoitsa on the uneven bars.
For her college debut, really great job there in such a tough position. Going after an injury is just really difficult for anyone. She and Hallie also are club teammates, close friends. So hard to be in that position. Wish she didn't have to be in that position, but good for her.
Yes, next up for the Tar Heels is Isabel Schaefer.
And really nice Jaeger there as well. Amelia Hunley is the primary bars coach for UNC. She was an All-American in her own right at Florida. Doing a great job with this bars team. Gearing up for her dismount here. Full twisting double back. I don't know if that was a stick or a college stick.
It was a stick.
Yeah, let's have a look. I don't know, Brian. We'll have to check out on the replay.
We'll try to do that as Suny Lee is getting started for her beam routine as well, as you get a look at that replay.
Yes. I gotta say, if I were judging, I'm not sure I'd give that. They probably will, though.
And here is Suny Lee performing her beam routine.
And here is that wolf turn that she did a much more difficult routine in the Olympics. Kind of said she was doing, for bars, she did about half of her beam routine. Here is her series, this aerial to back handspring. Now, in the Auburn preview, she did the aerial layout, step out, which she had done in the Olympics. Jeff Graba, when I talked to him, said, they have a lot of routine options for Suny. Switch, split there, really nice. And just is so beautiful on this event. She's known for her bars work, but she is really stunning on beam as well. And here is that dismount, just a little adjustment. Really, really nice routine for Suny Lee. Good comeback. And I think it was a good decision for them to do the aerial to back handspring, especially after she had that snafu on the uneven bars. Really nice back handspring to gainer full. Great to see her in NCAA gymnastics.
Carolina getting ready for their 6th athlete to participate in the uneven bars, and it's one of the stars for the Tar Heels, the junior out of Durham, North Carolina, Elizabeth Colton.
And get ready, because she's about to give a bars clinic. Look at this toe point. Look at the handstands, the Stalter positions. Stalter into a Tkachev. I mean, she's stunning. It is so beautiful to watch her gymnastics. One of the things that I talked to Coach Durante about is that Elizabeth is such a perfectionist that she has to work with her just to kind of let it happen, not worry too much. She's doing the Stalter into the double back. Judges, where do you go with that? I want to know where the deductions are. We're gonna take a look at that dismount. And oh, I can't quite see the top. I don't think that's a handstand deduction, but look at that landing. Absolutely gorgeous.
She set her personal best at the Eagle Championships in March with a 9.925.
And she was the Eagle champion on that event, and that bar routine was as good as, if not better, than the routine that she did there.
So in 5th up for Auburn is the freshman Sophia Groth. You saw her out of Actually, it's Gabby McLaughlin. My apologies.
And I wasn't sure if we were going to see her in the lineup. Had a little error on that series, but recovered really nicely there.
But she is a beam specialist.
And I really like how aggressively she works beam. Switch split into that side. You know, she was a little bit hesitant there, but just kind of kept moving through it. So she will get that connection. And she's doing that gainer for her dismount. Really nice dismount. Not the best that I've seen from her, but she really fought through that routine.
Sophomore out of Irving, Texas did very well on that routine.
And here's that backhand spring. This is a really difficult combination. You don't really see that very often, the dance into the series. And here's the dismount, that gainer, really nice job there. Glad to see her in that lineup. She was not in their original lineup, but I love her beam work.
5 down, 1 to go for the Tigers. As you see, Carolina, they are done with their routine on bars. Bowling Green is done with their routine on vault. So we have, looks like 6th up for the Tigers will be Cassie Stevens, the junior out of Phoenix, Arizona, who was all SEC on beam at the SEC Championships. Set her personal best at the SEC Championships with a 9.9.
And you see Ashley Johnson there giving her some advice, the beam coach for Auburn. Fans may know her as Ashley Priest. She was an All-American and national champion at the University of Alabama, now coaching at Auburn. Also a former national team member, world championship team member.
And this Auburn side, obviously, the records aren't what's going to matter. Obviously, it's the team score that matters. But we both know how dominant the SEC is, how from top to bottom there is very little separation. Maybe from between the top and the middle, but any team that gets hot at one meet can win the SEC title this year.
Well, and this is the challenge for Auburn. They have been one of those teams that have sort of been middle bottom of the SEC. They really want to push for that top of the SEC spot. As we're looking here, back handspring, layout step out. You know, I like that. She was a little bit off on that layout step out, made the adjustment. She is another one of my favorite beam workers. She has a lot of really cool skills. Check this out, throws her head back for that double stag. I love that. And she has an eponymous skill. That means the skill is named after her. We're gonna see it coming up right here, I think. Yeah, that's it. That's the I mean, it's incredible just doing that front toss to one knee, that wolf turn. The wolf turn is not my favorite, but it is getting more popular even in college. It is a very popular skill in elite. Oh, nice 1.5 there. You know, I thought that she had missed her foot a little bit on the beam, but maybe I was mistaken or she recovered really well. And this skill, I mean, this is incredible. I cannot believe she can land that on one knee like that. She got named after her in JO. That skill is valued a D. By the way, I was right. She did slightly miss her foot. Good for her. What a fighter. You could barely tell. You couldn't tell in the twist.
So 2 rotations are complete. We are halfway done. Auburn will be moving to floor. Carolina will be moving to the beam, and Bowling Green will be moving to bars. You're watching NCAA Gymnastics here on YouTube. We'll be back in just a moment.
This concludes the second round of competition. We are now inside the two-minute transition period. Gymnasts, please move to your next event. Carolina will be on beam, all red will be on floor, and Bowling Green will be on balls. Carolina Gymnastics returns to action on Saturday, January 22nd at 4 o'clock, hosting the Missouri Tigers, the George Washington Colonials, and the Brown Bears. For updates, follow the team on Twitter and Instagram, and UNC Gymnastics, or visit goeagles.com. Coaches, the open touch period begins now. All right, fans, during your attention, the corner of the arena near the vault area, we've got Paige, tonight's contestant, to play two truths and a lie. Paige will be provided with two truths and one lie. Paige will have to determine which statement is the lie. If Paige gets it correct, Paige will be going home with a target prospect. All right, Paige, good luck. All right, Paige, which one do you think is the lie? Is it 1, 2, or 3?
I think number 3 is the lie.
Okay, we don't think she likes chicken. But everybody likes chicken, but let's see. Sorry about that, Paige. You didn't get this time, but you know what? Everybody's a winner at Carolina. You still go on the prospect. How about a large round of applause for Paige?
We are back here at Carmichael Arena. What an atmosphere we have here as we get set for the third rotation. And Christina, North Carolina got out to a great start on vault, and this routine on bars was exceptional from Elizabeth Colton.
It's exquisite, and I have to say, when I see this back in replay, I can see that there is a little bit of lack of amplitude on that Takacha, but just the technique, the toe point, the extension, she is just, it's this very classical technique.
And when we talked to Coach Graba, Suny Lee was only going to compete on bars and beam, and this beam routine was very well done.
Yeah, and I think they made a good decision taking out that aerial layout, step out that she did at the preview. She doesn't need that. It's really important in these first couple meets to build up confidence. And she got a 9.875, and I think most of that came from her deduction, had a little bit of errors on that gainer full, but really strong recovery for her on bars after that fluke, on beam after that fluke on bars where she hit her feet.
So for rotation number 3, Auburn's going to be on floor, North Carolina is going to be on beam, and Bowling Green is going to be on bars. And the question is for the Tar Heels, after we saw that injury to Hallie Thompson, some of the exhibition performers for Coach Durante now have to step up because Thompson was expected to perform in all-around.
That's absolutely right. That is what they do train for this. They are expected to be able to go into lineups. It is a difficult position, though.
So starting first for Auburn on floor, it looks like it's going to be the freshman Sarah Hubbard, and we're splitting up all 3 boxes here. As you see the Tar Heels also getting their first routine on beam, and a slight step out from Hubbard, the freshman.
Yep, just too much power on that full in. We're seeing Emery Sumy here on beam for Carolina. Wow, what a debut for Sarah Hubbard and Emery Sumy. Gosh, that fall on the side Sumy, I gotta say, I can't remember the last time I saw Emery Sumy fall on beam. She's usually a really consistent competitor.
And competing for the Falcons, as you just saw there on the uneven bars, is Tess Muir, the senior out of Woodland Park, New Jersey, and Sumy with her dismount.
And I think this is actually, this is her cat leap into the side Sumy where she fell. Yeah, her hips were just way off. Keeping that hips and shoulders center on the beam, especially when you've got those side elements, is very important. 1.5, recovered really well. This is difficult. This is a lot of pressure on this UNC lineup. Remember, in college gymnastics, 6 routines, top 5 count. So now all of these athletes are in a must-hit situation because they've had that fall in the first spot.
Yeah, it looks like second up for the Tar Heels is Lali Dekanoitsa, and she has done very well in her first 2 routines. 9.825 on vault and 9.875 on bars.
And I wouldn't expect anything less from Lali. I mean, she is one of the top recruits in the country, rated 5 stars as a recruit by College Gym News. She was the JO national champion. This is one of those athletes I was saying level 10, those top level 10s in the country can compete alongside those elites. I do think that Lali, I'm going to go ahead and predict she's going to be an All-American at some point in her career for Carolina. One of those gymnasts really capable of pushing those higher levels of scores.
And she definitely learned best from her mother, who competed for the national team in the country of Georgia, where her mother is from.
Really nice, confident. I really like how she went for that landing on the aerial. And she trained at Southeastern Gymnastics in Charlotte, where so many NCAA greats have trained, including the Glenn twins at UCLA. I mean, she is such a confident competitor. Absolutely no problem with that series. And there's that dance combination, the switch, split to the split jump. Gearing up for her dismount now. Well, you couldn't really ask much more of the freshman. Have yourself a night, Lolly Dekanoitsa. Just got floor left, but wow, she's on fire. And here's Morgan Lee Oldham for Auburn on floor.
And also second up for Bowling Green on bars is the sophomore Lauren Bannister.
Some technique errors in that bar routine, but she really fought through that all the way to the dismount.
And looking at the scores, a 9.85 for Dekanoitsa on that beam routine. Final pass for the junior.
Gosh, and I just love her style on floor. That is what artistry is about. Really expressive choreography, really nice dance.
And you see Hannah Nam with her first acro element on beam.
Well, and you know, it's interesting there. We saw that back handspring layout step out from Hannah. Very solid. She has a switch split side. You know, I'm so impressed with how Lolly recovered in that second position as a freshman.
Hannah Nam was second team All-Eagle, fighting through that on beam last year for the Tar Heels.
And Hannah is one of those gymnasts who's just really grown at her time at Carolina. Did her club training at Cincinnati Gymnastics, which coincidentally is where Amelia Huntley did her club training. So reunited. Oh, she hung on to it. I thought she was going to have to take a step. Good for her. As I said, so she's reunited with her club teammate as coach and athlete. And
so we get for the next routine on bars for Bowling Green. And it's going to be the freshman Lexi Bornhorn who has to take a fall.
Yeah, it looked like she caught that release very close to the bar. And you know, this is a tricky position for the gymnast as well, because when you have a fall in the middle of the lineup, you never know what's going to happen in the rest of the rotation. So you got to get back up, you got to finish your routine, because you never know that when that might have to count. Pretty short on that handstand, so I don't know if she was just off from the beginning. Now, something looked like it fell. Like, I don't know if it was a hairpiece. Like, I don't know what happened there. But yeah, this is really difficult, and she's just having trouble getting through the rest of this. I just hope that she lands safely here. That full pirouette into the double back. All right, finish that routine out. Good for her. Yeah, it just was really, you know, like I said, from the start, short on that first handstand. But here's that full pirouette into the double back. For the full pirouette elements, the ideal is to land in handstand. When you are casting up to a handstand, there is a 10-degree margin of error. When you are pirouetting, it is 20 degrees, so you have a little bit more leeway in that.
Fourth up for the Tar Heels on beam is Julia Noer, freshman out of Louisiana who's competed on both vault and on bars. And next is for Auburn is Sophia Groth on floor.
Really nice front double full there. I love that front toss by Julia. So many athletes, you see them landing it really deep. You really should be landing it like she did with the chest straight up. Jump into that switch side. Cool combo. Really nice middle pass from Sophia as well.
Julia Noer was a two-time state champ in Louisiana in the all-around, and an excellent dismount for the freshman.
Carmichael Arena is electric right now. This is what I want people to know and get interested in college gymnastics. It is so exciting. You can get that same energy that you get from being at a basketball game, being at a football game. These athletes are incredible. The energy in here is just electric.
As Growth finishes her floor routine for the Tigers.
Really nice job for her as well. Again, one of those athletes that I think maybe people haven't paid as much of attention to because Suny's coming in, but she's very powerful, is capable of doing the all-around as well. Look at this front toss. I don't know that I've seen a front toss done that well in college gymnastics. And here's the dismount. 1.5 twist, sinks into it. She knows exactly where she is in the air, and that's why I think she is one to watch. If you do fantasy gymnastics, pick her up right now. Brian, fantasy gymnastics
we always hear
is a
it.
thing,
Pick her up.
Pick her up.
Pick her up. And you see Bowling Green getting ready for their fourth participant. It's Taylor Jensen, and it's a 9.925 for Julia Noer on beam.
Just a very casual debut. Brian, what did I tell you at the top of the broadcast? You got to keep your eye on Julia Noer. Here she is, quietly killing it.
As Taylor Jensen competes on bars for the Falcons.
Big Tkachev there. Double layout, some shape issues there, but really nice routine overall. Very important. That routine coming back after a major mistake, really important to get back on track, and that's what they did there.
And here's another athlete looking to get back on track. It's Elizabeth Colton. She was exceptional on beam last year, All-American.
And nice there, just a little bit off, but again, fought through that, was able to correct it. That's probably gonna be a 10th. That cat leap, she really executes that cat leap in such a precise way. A lot of people do not do that with the turnout, with the toe point.
Also competing on floor for the Tigers is Cassie Stevens. As you still see Colton fighting through her beam routine.
And there's the Stevens. She throws it in on floor just for fun.
Colton's best score last year for the Tar Heels on beam was a 9.95, and she's keeping the train going. After taking a fall, the first athlete to perform, Carolina's moving through this rotation.
Absolutely. And you know, she won't be pleased with that. She's a first-team All-American on beam. She expects herself to go 9.9 plus every week. But I do like that she fought through those mistakes because that routine was critical for Carolina.
So you see Stevens performing on floor for the Tigers.
And she's another one of these athletes. I love her style on floor. Nice double back to end there. Really nice routine there from Cassie Stevens. And you know, I mean, all of these Auburn floor routines are, I really enjoy them. By the way, if we're doing the Leo alert, I would say that Auburn is my favorite leotard here tonight. I think this is a new leotard. College Gym News would have to confirm that for me, but I like the orange and silver.
So there you see Aria Brush. She's going to be 5th up for the Tigers, and now fifth up on bars for the Falcons is Lily Harsh.
Nice Jaeger there. Oh, wow. Lost her balance there on the top of the bar. You don't see that very often. Had to recast her around, but she handled it. Full pirouette. That's what you want to see out of those full pirouettes into the double back. And then takes that step forward. Not the routine that she wanted, but she fought through it. Yeah, and this is really unusual. You know, she handles this transition just fine, just loses her balance, has to recircle around there. And that's actually the same thing that happened to Jordan Childs in the UCLA meet preview. So I think, to be honest, that's just kind of like a jitters thing, fluke thing. But really nice full pirouette there.
And sixth up for the Tar Heels on the beam is junior Brianna Greenlow from Suwanee, Georgia, taking the place of Hallie Thompson, who left with an injury after her fall on bars.
And, you know, just, you know, thoughts and prayers with Hallie. And Bree Greenlow, very prepared to step into this spot. She warmed up as a reserve athlete, and she is a transfer from William & Mary, really competed very well for the Tar Heels last season, often competing in the all-around.
And we also see Aria Brush getting ready to perform on floor for the Tigers.
And get ready, because she can tumble.
And good control, but judge said her toes just stepped out of bounds, so it is going to be a minor deduction there.
Oh, hangs on to that aerial there, that side summy. I can just tell that Brianna Greenlow is being a bit tentative, probably just aware that they don't want to count a fall, but she's fighting through this routine. Just the dismount left here. One and a half. Nice job. Good for that rest of the lineup, stepping in when needed.
So, sixth up for Bowling Green on the uneven bars is going to be one of their seniors, Caitlin Goldstrom.
And really nice routine there, good dismount. Aria's gearing up for her final pass here. Double pike, manages to stay in bounds there. We've got a lot of gymnastics going simultaneously here, folks. You know, to have that extra power, stepped out of bounds, but otherwise, strong routine. You know, she's just a really powerful athlete. And here's, I believe we're seeing her final pass, that double pike. Yeah, just lifts that front foot. We do want to see the athletes keep their front foot planted, ideally, in order to not incur deduction. To be honest, though, a lot of times the judges don't take the small deduction they should when there's that foot raise. But again, ideally, you want to see a controlled lunge back, that front foot anchored.
So Carolina is done with their rotation on the balance beam. We still have one rotation left, one participant left for the Tigers, and it's going to be their star senior, Darian Goburn, out of Sarasota, Florida. As we mentioned, national champion as a freshman on vault, but she received her All-American performance last year on floor.
And again, she didn't have an opportunity to go to nationals because Auburn was not able to compete at regionals due to a COVID issue. This, if you have not seen Darian on floor, get ready. She is the complete package. She is an incredible performer. She is confident. If I had 1/100th of the confidence that she had when she walks onto this floor routine, I would have zero problems in my life. But she's really something special on this event.
Yeah, twice last year she had her personal best of 9.975. And 2 years ago when we were covering Carolina Gymnastics, we mentioned how Kaja Hislop, nearly every routine she was going for a 10. This is going to be the exact same thing.
Absolutely. got to put on the crown. And get ready, look at the technique that she does on this double back open. Sky high leaps, look at that.
And what you always love about floor routines is their ability to express themselves, especially I'm trying to remember the UCLA gymnast that got 10s.
Oh, and just a little bit short on that double pike.
But you can definitely say the best of the bunch.
I mean, her style, look at this. She is incredible. She puts back on the crown. You deserve it, Darian Goborn. Look at the technique. A lot of gymnasts most gymnasts have to grab their knees, not her. She's keeping that open position. She's telling the judges, I don't need any help getting around. And here's those leaps, that switch side to the wolf full. Look at the precise position that she shows there. And here's that middle pass. Front full to front layout, just really precise positions. But, you know, it's the expressiveness, it is the artistry. Look at how, artistry is not just smiling all the time. Artistry is how you are moving your body, how you are connecting with the judges, and your commitment to the routine. And she is so committed to that routine. Love the music choice, love the Missy Elliott. I can't say enough good things about Darian.
3 rotations are complete. Carolina will move to floor, Auburn will move to vault, and Bowling Green will move to the balance beam. It's an exciting atmosphere here in Carmichael Arena, and we have one more rotation to go. Stay with us here on YouTube.
position. Your 2-minute transition period is underway. Gymnasts, please move to your next event. Carolina will be on floor, Auburn on vault, and Bowling Green will be on B. Coaches, the 4-minute touch period begins now. Team scores through 3 rotations. Carolina and Auburn tied at 146.9. Bowling Green, 144.125. Team scores on the board through rotation 3. Fans, check out the video board to see why your Tar Heel gymnast chose Carolina.
As soon as I started visiting, I felt a sense of community and I can use to take the big move far away from home to really create a new experience. And I also chose Carolina because of the amazing school spirit and sports that we have here. No. Who dances? Oh wow, we're on our practice. Who leads our dances? You do flips on here, you're really good at this.
Three rotations down, 1 to go in this tri-meet between North Carolina, Auburn, and Bowling Green here on YouTube. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Brian Ware along Christina Chauvenet. And Christina, on the 3rd rotation, Julia Noer was the star for the Tar Heels on beam.
This such a solid back handspring layout step out there. I love her technique. Here's that front toss. Look at that chest position. Really textbook gymnastics there.
and she would get a 9.925 on her debut.
Welcome to college gymnastics.
And the other star, Darian Goburn, this pass was exemplary.
I mean, she's scraping the ceiling. Like, how does she do this so casual? And she knows it. She gives a little head nod at the end. Really incredible. She's a little bit shy on her final pass, so didn't go for that 10 today, but she's gonna be knocking on that door the rest of this season.
And you see the atmosphere here in Carmichael Arena. It is bouncing, and with good reason. After 3 rotations, North Carolina and Auburn are tied at 146.9.
This, you couldn't ask for a more exciting final rotation. You got Auburn on vault. This is an event where they struggled a little bit last season.
They did.
Didn't have the depth. They didn't have a lot of those 10-0 starts. There are some people that they brought in that have those 10-0 starts. Sarah Hubbard, one of those freshmen that are going to be competing there. UNC, when I saw them at their inner squad, at their Thanksgiving inner squad, they looked really good on floor. Again, somebody's going to have to step into Hallie Thompson's shoes. It's a difficult thing for them to get over, but they're really going to be going neck and neck. And if you had told me when this meet started that UNC would be tied with Auburn heading into the last rotation, I wouldn't have believed you. I'm so impressed. UNC has exceeded my expectations. They've had a great night, despite it not going perfect, right? Like you saw Emery Semi fall. You had Lolly Dekanoitza. We got to talk about her in that 2 spot, coming back and getting a 9.875.
Yeah, and as you see the scores and the coaches talking to their sides, getting ready for the 4th rotation, Carolina's on floor, Auburn on vault, Bowling Green on beam. We mentioned how Auburn was ranked 23rd last year on vault in the country. Carolina, obviously, hopefully their depth is going to get a little bit better. They were averaged just under a 49 for floor.
Well, yeah, and floor has traditionally been a strength for Carolina. They have some really exciting new floor routines. Lolly's coming in. Julia Noer is going to be on floor as well.
And Hannah Nam, you see, is talking with associate head coach Marie Case Dinnick. And the first vault coming from Auburn, and it's from Tara Walsh.
And this is her debut as an Auburn Tiger. Nice Yurchenko full there.
So now here comes Hannah Nam, the junior out of Westchester, Ohio.
A little shy on that double pike. Nice Rudy there, though.
She was 2nd team All-EHEL on floor as a freshman. As you see Nam getting ready for her final pass, Bowling Green is beginning their rotation on the beam.
Nice final combination pass there for Hannah Nam. Little shy on her opening double pike. When I say shy, what I mean is she didn't quite complete the rotation. Her chest came forward a little bit. We want to see the gymnast taking a controlled step back for backward tumbling.
So you see Emily Castiglia first up for the Falcons.
Nice switch split to straddle 3/4 there. You know, Bowling Green behind UNC and Auburn, they're not going to be able to challenge for that top spot. But remember, college gymnastics is about the scores. It's not about the record. So while, of course, every team wants to get a win, how you qualify for the postseason is based on your scores. It has nothing to do with your record. So, you know, in a way that makes it more exciting because the athletes, you're competing against everybody, again, in the country every weekend.
Here you get a look at Auburn's second vault from the Sophia Grove.
And another Yurchenko full. Nice control there, takes that step back. But she's had a really good night. Solid start to her Auburn career.
And you just saw it there for Auburn, Cassie Stevens performing for the Tigers. Tigers are going to go through pretty quick with their vault, so we'll try to get them as best as possible. And it looks like second up for the Tar Heels on floor is going to be Brianna Greenlow, who came in for Hallie Thompson on beam just a moment ago.
And here's that vault for Cassie Stevens. She's doing that Yurchenko full. Again, really nice. That's one of those hops that's probably that half-tenth. Again, the half-tenth hops are reserved for when there's a very slight movement. And here we are, 3 Greenlow.
Greenlow, the transfer from William and Mary.
Nice double pike, held it just to show it off.
At a season best 9.875 in their meet against the Wolfpack last year. And second up, you see for Bowling Green is senior Kayla Chan.
Love this middle pass. Check that out. Punch front through the 2.5.
And the Tar Heel that competed before Greenlow, Hannah Nam, did very well, setting the table with a 9.775 with her routine, as Greenlow is about to finish come with her final pass.
And Kayla's doing a nice job on balance beam. I'd like to see a little bit more fluidity of movement. Less kind of pauses through there. Nice end of that routine. Maybe the front layout a bit flat, but oh gosh, too bad. And again, this is one of those positions like we talked about with Emery. She's just had her dismount left, that gainer full. Too bad. Now there is pressure on the other back half of that lineup. And now we're going to move back to Auburn on vault.
This is Sarah Hubbard.
And she's one of these athletes doing the 1.5, 10.0 start. Little deep in that landing, but strong overall. Let's see her block off the table. Maybe just some bent elbows on the table, but she gets it around really well, that small step forward.
And you just seen the Auburn Tigers celebrate with their star fifth-year senior, Drew Watson, who was 5th for the Tigers on vault. Let's get a look at Watson's vault for the Tigers.
And she stuck this cold in their preview. Let's see what she does here. Wow, really nice. She always looks surprised. If I'm being picky, which I am, there's a little bit of a knee bend. Let's look here, some soft knees in that flight. Yeah, that should be about a 1/2 tenth. Can't take anything on that landing though. She stuck.
Well, I see the score, and I believe it's either a 9.9 or a 9.95 with that vault. So that is exceptional.
Yeah, and that's, these minor things, they should be taking those minor deductions when they are there. Like that knee bend, probably a 1/2 tenth, but exceptional vault. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better landing.
Looking at the score, Brianna Greenlow getting a 9.825 on floor for the Tar Heels. And third up is going to be Shaylin St. Bryce, who is stepping in for Thompson.
Absolutely. And Auburn's on fire on vault. It's going to be a little bit difficult for UNC to keep pace here.
Here's the first pass for the senior from Mooresville, North Carolina.
Love the side choreo. I love the teammates doing the choreography. Short on that double pike, but she was able to save it.
As you see on the balance beam is going to be Serena Ross for the Falcons, sophomore from Los Angeles. As St. Bryce finishes her floor routine.
You know, solid routine, a little bit of endurance issues there at the end with the double pike. Really confident on that back handspring layout step out. And cool Sison there. And I love that double stag jump. You know, I love seeing any variety in NCAA when I see unique elements, somebody taking a little bit of risk, like throwing a head back on that double stag. It's really cool to see. Gearing up for her dismount. What really nice dismount there, 1.5. Good for her.
And now you're getting a look at Auburn's final vault from Darion Goburn.
And she just has a huge 1.5. Has that step forward. That's just a controlling the landing. You know, as I mentioned, look at the block she gets off the table. Her shoulders are just too far forward. That's what made her take that pace forward. And I think that that step is in the sort of 2/10 rounds area, but really has those mechanics. You know, as I mentioned, a lot of gymnasts, particularly with vault, are vaulting onto these resi pits, these softer surfaces in the preseason. That's to protect their ankles, their knees, prepare them for this long season of collegiate gymnastics. So that's why you don't see a lot of stuck landings at this point in the season, but that's totally fine because that's what allows them to, I'd much rather them do that and be able to last through the season.
Yeah, and Goburn just got her score of 9.875. So the Tigers are done on vault with a team score of 48.925.
Yeah, strong job for them there. You know, they have some of those vaults that are, they really want to push to make it to nationals. They are going to have to upgrade some of those vaults at the beginning of the lineup to kind of give them some more 10.0 starts, give them that competitive edge.
And here is who I think has been probably the star tonight, Lali Dekanoitsa, the freshman.
Huge double backed open there.
Now, fourth up for the Falcons is Catherine Weilbacher, the freshman out of Houston.
Weilbacher, one of the things we're going to look for here is her dismount. She competes a double back dismount. Very few gymnasts in NCAA are doing that dismount. Gearing up for it here. Has that step back, but good for her going for that difficulty. Really nice routine. And speaking of nice routine, having yourself a night, Lale Dekanoitsa. What a great way to kick off your NCAA career. Again, I'm going to go ahead and call it. She is going to be an All-American. She is she's probably the biggest recruit that UNC has brought in since Courtney Bumpers, who won a couple national championships for UNC. She is the JO national champion. So dynamic on all 4 events.
And, she did really well competing against Cassie Stevens in all-around tonight.
And now we'll look here. She went for this ring position. Yeah, she does a pretty good job of getting her head back. That's maybe a little shy on that second split position. And here's her last pass. This 1.5, 2 front layout. Good job keeping that laid out position in the front layout.
So there you see Dekanoitsa. Finishing her floor routine with a 9.775. As you see, Lily Harsh, 5th up for the Falcons.
And just a little score update. Auburn is now in the clubhouse with a 196.3.
Yeah, they didn't add one last score, so on vault, they had their best rotation with a 49.35 on vault.
Yeah, absolutely huge. And that is going to make it statistically impossible for UNC to catch them. That doesn't mean that UNC still can't have a great night, though.
It's going to be Elizabeth Colton who is next for Carolina. Excellent concentration from the junior. Staying in bounds on floor. As you see, Harsh going for her dismount.
Nice front full there, that step forward. That's probably a 1/10 step there.
The attention falls back on Colton. Tumbling in front of Coach Durante. Solid finish.
I mean, Liz Colton, what an exquisite gymnast. Her style really reminds me of UNC alum Morgan Lane, who was a national qualifier and just had that really precise technique. She's not the most powerful gymnast, but here we're going to take a look at her first pass. She does that double back. Look, her legs are together, teeny tiny flexed feet at the end, but the judges probably won't catch that. And we're taking a look at her middle pass here. This is that front layout to the front full. And yeah, as Brian said, just almost went out. That's a seasoned competitor. She saw where she was. She made that adjustment to take a small step forward.
Yeah, Colton, as a freshman, was the EAGL Rookie of the Year as she hugs her teammate, Hallie Thompson, who suffered that horrible injury on the uneven bars. But you could see Thompson with a smile on her face, knowing that there's going to be a lot of feeling of what's going to happen for her the rest of the season, whether it's a minor injury or possibly a major injury.
Yeah, and she did have a season-ending injury in her freshman year, was not able to compete, had a really good season last season. So we are thinking of her, sending her all of our best wishes. She and Elizabeth Colton are old friends. Although they did not compete at the same club, They both did the junior circuit in North Carolina, so told me that they have known each other since they were little kids, going to gymnastics camps together, then doing Region 8 developmental camps together. So good for her to have that support system.
And a 9.85 for Elizabeth Colton as you get a look at Taylor Jensen, who is 6th up for the Falcons on beam. And getting ready to perform on floor for the Tar Heels is the freshman Julia Noer.
Oh, and a large step out of bounds there.
Good job fighting through for Jensen on beam. As she goes for her dismount.
Just that tiny step back, but nice job.
A lot of confidence from Coach Carrie Turner. As Julia Noer's gone through 2 passes, the freshman from Louisiana.
Oh, and just shy. Again, you know, we have seen this from several gymnasts. Yeah, shy on that last double back. You know, she competed the all-around tonight. Probably some endurance and fatigue going on. But again, she's one to keep your eye on. Really strong gymnast. Amelia Huntley does all the choreography for this UNC team. I think she's done a great job with this team.
And this is the middle pass.
And so she does this front full into the front layout. You are required to do a combination pass. That was probably the best pass. That was the best pass of the routine. But yeah, she, you know, with
everything that Coach Durante has seen, I think she should be well pleased with the direction that this team is going in.
Absolutely. I think, you know, they've overcome so much adversity in this meet alone, have really gotten and really had some really strong performances.
So 4 rotations are complete. We'll step aside for just a moment as the awards will be handed out and team honors will be given. It was a tight one after 3 rotations, but Auburn may have just pulled out the meet for the win. Final results coming up on the other side. You're watching NCAA Gymnastics here on YouTube.
final round of competition. Teams and coaches, please report to the floor while the final scores are tabulated. Carolina Gymnastics would like to thank everyone in attendance for sharing in our support of hometown heroes and cancer awareness here in Carolina and throughout our campus community.
Welcome back to NCAA Gymnastics here on YouTube. And as you get a look at the final team scores, it was tied at 3 rotations between Auburn and North Carolina, but that 49.35 score for the Tigers on vault pushed them ahead by 6/10 with 196.3. North Carolina with 195.7. Bowling Green 192.6. And I think the key for the Tigers was the back end of their rotation on vault, led by Drew Watson. This vault was incredible.
Yeah, you know, she really drilled this vault. Look at this landing. Gets really nice height and then just sticks it cold. You can see she is stoked about that one. Again, look at how high she gets. You know, I said just a little knee bend. I think that's what separated. If she can straighten those knees, that will be a 10.0.
The other big story was the freshman, Lali Tekanoitsa.
And there's that double layout. She was in the tough position of going after Hallie Thompson got injured on bars. stepped up to the plate. She's going to have a great collegiate career.
And of course, how can we not forget about the athlete that we talked at the Open in Suny Lee? She only competed in 2 rotations, but she really fought through and she really showed what she was made of.
Yeah, and on bars, she got a 9.775, got a 2/10 deduction for bagging her feet. So you add that 2/10, 9.75, pretty darn good, and got a 9.875 here on. You can just look at her exquisite leaps. She really performed well. I talked about not putting too much expectation on her. This is her first meet. It takes athletes a little while to get accustomed to college gymnastics. I was thrilled to see her do really well on beam. And then, yeah, really a nice dismount there. Went 9.875, and just it's so exciting to have her in college gymnastics. I mentioned Jade Carey at Oregon State, also an Olympic champion competing in NCAA, and so many other Olympic medalists, Olympians, national team members are competing. And that is a really exciting thing for the sport. I hope that everyone that is watching tonight sees how exciting college gymnastics is. We have some of the best athletes in the country competing, and you can tune in and watch them go head-to-head every week.
Yeah, Auburn did really well with that 196.3. We mentioned how tough the SEC is going to be this year. Obviously, you look at the defending SEC champion, Alabama. You can't forget about Florida. But this Auburn side is really going to have a lot of tough meets in front of them. They're going to travel next Friday to Arkansas to take on the Razorbacks. But their first home meet, I think you're going to see easily over 10,000 people when they host Iowa State, and then when they host Alabama on the 28th. My goodness.
That's a big meet. And if you're wondering how these scores are pacing compared to the top scores in the country, the University of Michigan, who are the defending national champions, they went 197.750 last night in the opener of the college season. That is the 3rd highest score of a season opener ever in college gymnastics. They really blew it out of the water with that 197.75 last night. And so that's, a lot of the teams are going to be chasing that 197.75 is incredible for this point in the season. A 197 mark, breaking through into that 197s, that's where Auburn's going to need to be if they really want to push towards the top of the SEC. And shout out to Drew Porsche, who is Talent Stat on Twitter, for helping me with that the season opener records.
Wow. And as you see, we're getting pictures of both Auburn and North Carolina, as well as Bowling Green. North Carolina, we knew that they had goals set for themselves to be higher than where they had been the past several years. They hadn't been to regionals in the last several years. Obviously, individuals went to regionals, but the team hadn't been to regionals since 2017. I think this score of 195.7 sets the benchmark, as we said in the Open, for where this team wants to be. And if this is the benchmark, like this is the floor, there's nowhere to go but up.
That's true. This is it's definitely the strongest season opener they've had in the 7 seasons that I've been covering UNC Gymnastics. It's a really strong score. Like we said, that NQS is going to need to be pushing towards a 196 to make regionals. Bowling Green, they did have some struggles throughout the night, struggle with some endurance, struggle with some form issues, but I did see a lot of potential in their lineups, and I think that they really just need to work on some of the endurance for particularly floor and bars, clean up some of those handstands, but good for them to be here with getting some depth, getting some of these new routines out there for their freshmen.
And I think if they can keep this up, they're going to give NC State a run for their money. NC State was the preseason pick to be the top team in the EAGL, and I think it's going to be a fun, season here as the Tar Heels face off against the Wolfpack. They'll be going to NC State. Hopefully NC State, once they get through their COVID protocols, they should be able to put up some solid performances in the coming weeks. Stay with us. The award ceremony is just moments away here on YouTube.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd now like to recognize our individual event scores. In first place on vault, with a score of 9.95 from all Drew Watson. Our top scorer on bars with a score of 9.875 from Carolina, Lale Deganoiza. Top scorer on beam, 9.925 from North Carolina, Julia Noer. The top scorer in the floor exercise at 9.875 from Auburn, Darion Goldberg. Our top all-around performer with a score of 39.325 from Carolina, Lale Deganoiza. Our final team standings. In third place with a total score of 192.6, the Bowling Green Falcons. In second place with the best season opening score in program history at 195.7, the North Carolina Tar Heels. First place with a team score of 196.3, the Auburn Tigers.
Don't forget to join us on Saturday, January 22nd.
As we host Missouri with Washington Brown, right here at Carmichael Arena at 4 p.m. We will see you all then.
Go Heels!
Fans, we'd like to thank you for joining us tonight and for your enthusiastic support of Carolina Gymnastics. Ladies and gentlemen, have a beautiful evening and please drive safely.